Here we go.
Hello!
We's this live. The best part is this takes time for people to filter in. So right now we get to talk to the people who are watching the rewatch. Like that's who's in here right now. So
hello, people watching the rewatch. Hello, hi.
The people watching the rewatch, you're so welcome to what will surely be the greatest takeover in Guild of Icon history.
Agreed. It can only be.
I'll start simple. What is everyone drinking? I have rum.
Oh man, I'm boring. I have tea. I'm drinking tea.
I have a little glass of wine.
You have it in a tumbler. Yeah, wanker.
Well, yes, it's in the booth. I had it in a big glass, but then the booth is my recording booth is very small.
Hi, Steve.
Hi, Byron. Hey,
Ryan. Hello, everybody.
Andy, do you have like glitter on your cheek?
I do. Glitter is my I don't have time to do proper makeup hack.
That is perfect.
Hey, Rachel, is a fine vintage.
Oh shit! Let me put my phone in silent.
Getting
Sorry.
Notes of brain hemorrhage.
That's my one prerequisite for any alcohol I'm drinking.
Yes, well, you are on the rum, Captain Rachel Neikirk. All right, we should introduce ourselves.
Yes.
Let's start with, well, of course, we must start with our surprise member.
Oh.
We must start with Andrea Parsneau.
No one knew I was going to be here until like a couple hours ago. So it's a surprise to everybody. Hello, everyone. I'm Andrea Parsneau. I'm an audiobook narrator. You may know me from Azeroth Healer, The Wandering Inn, any of Daniel Shinhofen's work, a whole bunch of stuff. And also the wonderful woman right here, the beautiful Rachel Neikirk. I had the honor of narrating Nights of Eternity for her, which is a phenomenal story, and you should go get it.
Thank you so much. Sorry, that was slightly spoiled by Brian being gross, but I shouldn't have. I shouldn't.
I missed it.
Do you want me to read it out, Brian? Shall I read out your shame? You're saying you like surprise members,
but I do. How dare you? Don't kink shame me, Brian.
I just want to kink shame Brian.
Yeah.
Anyway. Hello. Yes. My name is Rachel Neikirk. I am a former writer for Baldur's Gate 3. I have 2 books out, Calamity and Desecrate, both of which are narrated by the fabulous Andrea Parsneau. And the 3rd book is out in 5 days. It's out in 5 days. I'm so proud of myself, an entire trilogy in a year. Hell yeah.
You should be proud of yourself. It's incredible work, I think. Look, gang, anyone who's joining us, Andrea and Rachel have formed, with their wombo comboness, they have formed an exquisite 1-2 punch. With Andrea's vocal exquisiteness and Rachel's cut her teeth on video games she wrote for Baldur's Gate 3 into the world of narrative. And by the way, in terms of Baldur's Gate 3, she wrote characters like Auntie Ethel, Alfira. She wrote the entirety of the Rivington Circus. She wrote a heck of a lot of stuff, and it's incredibly powerful. And that's translated to her novels. But she's fucking lame. No, so okay. Here's the thing.
You're not supposed to tell them everything straight away.
I am Jack Fields. I am an author. I worked a little bit on Baldur's Gate 3 as well, although in the capacity of writing items, lore, text, and a great deal of the technical text as well. I was kind of behind the scenes stuff. We walked so that Rachel could run. So yes, I have worked on a series called the Walking Shadow Trilogy. The first one is Scarlet Citadel. It is a novel that is spooky, that's cozy, that's romantic, adventurous, full of monsters and power escalation, dread, and triumph. And it's going to be narrated by Neil Helligers and Tess Irondale. Those are the 2 audiobook narrators who are working on the series, and I'm very glad to have them. And that audiobook should be coming very soon. But yes, so here we are, the 3 of us.
So wait, side note. So one of my favorite items from Baldur's Gate 3 was written by Jack Fields, and it's amazing. It's do you remember? It's the necromancer's items, but he's the necromancer who's afraid of dead people.
Yes.
It was so fun. There was a whole family. You made it a whole family, like his kids and everything.
Rachel,
and I remember you
awesome.
sending it to me across the office, and you were like, "Oh, Rachel, is this okay?" And I was like nearly snorting out my tea, just cackling away reading it. And what's lovely is because you said something nice about me. So like, contractually obligated. No, but Scarlet Citadel is a stunning novel. If you like China Melville or like any kind of like epic prose like that, you will absolutely fucking love Scarlet Citadel. Also, I got to listen to Andy do the first 2 books live. Yeah, this has turned into a circle jerk, and I'm okay with that. Don't kink shame. Yeah,
it's our takeover. We get to do what we want.
Exactly, we can do what we want. Thank you, Richie. Ruined only by Brian being present. And I got to listen, Andy. It was so fucking cool. Like I was jokingly telling people, like in one of the other panels, that like I have sent you like 15, 20 pages of like character notes on like the character on when I'm sending voice notes. But the thing is, I never say they have this accent, they have that, because I want it to like be up to you. But I'll tell you everything about how this person is feeling, everything about how this person is thinking. And if you thought the first 2 ones were long, Andy, I'm so sorry for when you get the 3rd one. Because a whole bunch of characters come back from the first book for the finale. And I was like, I'm just pop them in here. They've changed a little bit. I'm going to give her a little bit of a refresher. So it's absolutely gigantic. But I loved the accents you gave people, because this is my favorite thing, because it's voice acting is such a creativity in and on itself. And I loved, like, you would speak, like I remember Thaddeus, who was a shape-shifting dog, slight spoiler. Yeah. He's a shape-shifting dog. And when I heard her speak the first time, like with his voice, I was like, I never thought of that accent. Oh my God, it's perfect.
That's awesome. I'm so glad you liked it. There's always a bit of like you're walking out on a ledge. Every time you make a choice, you're risking. Like every time, if you're doing something that you don't have like explicit permission to do, and sometimes even when you have explicit permission or like instruction, sometimes you just pick the wrong version. Sometimes it's like you give them, I just had this happen, you give them a Southern Irish accent, they're supposed to have a Northern Irish accent, or you get, it's yada, yada, yada. It's those kinds of things where it's like, oh no, there's always a risk to it. But I don't have it happen too terribly often where someone comes back and goes, I absolutely hate it. It's usually just, you know what, I actually liked it after I heard it, so it worked out. So, but there's a risk, there's fear. It goes wrong sometimes.
Well, because Jack is also cutting his teeth on narration. If you can't tell by the boothy that he's currently or maybe he's choosing a life as an ASMRist. Are you going to?
Have you come here for just a little trim? Do you just want a little tiny trim? Is that what you want?
Talking about this.
So Andrea and I had a call last night. We weren't even talking. I didn't know she was going to be on the panel today. Nope. And she goes, I unironically listened to Andrea do the thing you did yesterday.
Hi, everyone. I'm here today and I'm going to talk to you. You know what? It's your time for makeup, okay? I'm going to do your makeup today.
The mouth pops!
Yes, a little like, oh, isn't that nice? Don't worry, be relaxed. It's all about you right now. That's the only thing you have to be concerned with. Like, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. I knocked out 15 minutes tops.
Right, you go first here.
Yeah, I fucking love ASMR. Right, but I'm also aware that it's weird as fuck.
Weird.
Okay?
It is so weird.
And it's so weird. And like some of them are genuinely lovely. Like there's this one I listened to, this girl helping you pack for the airport. Knocks me the fuck out like a fucking, I missed that flight and I don't give a shit. And then there's another in which someone is tonguing a microphone in the shape of an ear.
Yep. The ear, the binaural mics or whatever they are, they're very strange looking. They look like a box with ears and creepy, uncanny human ears.
Oh.
There's something deeply unsettling about that, but
very Clive Barker indeed.
Yeah. I love it, but it's weird.
Basically. We have a few things we're going to do. We're going to maybe do some readings. We're going to explore some stuff. No, we're gonna be exploring
each other.
Oh my God, shit! So we're gonna be exploring myself and Rachel's work, and then Andy's gonna have a little something for us, I think, as well, just in terms of a little bit of performance for you all. So hopefully you'll enjoy that. But I want to start with a little bit of a question in terms of, because something that was brought up in one of the previous panels was an approach to character. So I think we have a pretty great opportunity here. We've got Rachel Kirk, the author of The Knights of Eternity, and we have Andrea, who breathes fresh life into it in an audiobook capacity. When you were approaching these characters, I just have to ask you, Valerius, Magnus, Zara herself, our unnamed protagonist, Rachel, how did you formulate the initial sort of foundation for these characters? And then, Andrea, how did you interact with that and build upon it? How did you find the approach to that? Is that okay to ask you both?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's perfectly fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
You have the building block, and then I'll talk
I was about to say I'll hop in there. So definitely because my book is about a girl who ends up trapped in the body of an arcade game villain, right? I've said that so many times I could say that in my sleep. And I really wanted characters that felt like they were in a video game, but also had enough depth that they weren't so cringy. Honestly, just say like butthole.
Butthole pucker? Wait, am I supposed to say it in the ASMR voice?
Say it in the ASMR voice.
Hi, Jack. It's so good to see you again. I can't wait to see that butthole pucker.
That was even better.
That's not okay, Andy.
That's so okay. I love how the request was for you just to say butthole pucker, and you took it about 6 levels higher.
That's what I do.
I could explain that reference. I'm not gonna. Rachel, you were saying.
Butthole pucker is so much better. So I wanted characters I wanted Valerius to really come across as like the stalwart knight, and then, slight spoiler, he's actually a total piece of shit. In the same way, I wanted, there's a particular mage dude who is such a mustache twirling kind of evil villain. And at the end of the second book, you find out why he's like that. So I wanted kind of a mix of tropey characters, but also they had enough depth that you could take them seriously, basically. Andy?
Yeah, and you made it really easy to build off of that because they felt like arcade game characters given more depth. So I wanted to make sure it sounded like what we expect when we listen to like an arcade game from the 90s where it's, yes, I am the stalwart knight, that like chesty, punchy voices, and the villains is, oh yes, I can't wait. It's this like very over the top, I wanted to make sure that it was this weird, like this very, very specific to like the arcade game feel for the voices, but then make sure to give it all this beautiful depth and the emotion that Rachel gave it. So sometimes that's like the most difficult part is you pick this very edgy voice that's very animated. Now make him happy, sad, order milk. You have to do all these crazy weird things with the voice and try to maintain the emotion of them, but also keep the voice in the same thing. So it's a lot of fun. And she gave me a lot of building blocks to work off of that were fabulous. So I wanted to keep it in that arcade feel. That was like the biggest thing, was kind of make it sound that way while still being, emotionally more deep emotionally than the arcade games of the 90s.
I have to ask the natural follow-up. Rachel, who was your favorite character to write? Andrea, who was your favorite character to voice?
Ooh. Oh God. So it was probably Zara the Fury. I keep saying this in every single panel and I stand by it. Because she was actually only supposed to have a much smaller role. So she only pops up at the end of the first book. And my initial plan, I don't think this is a spoiler, the third book was supposed to be just about the main character in Eternity, who is a girl she meets on her very first night in the game world and then immediately separated from. And they were supposed to come together, their paths converged, they have very different stories the first 2 books, and then they come together. That didn't happen because of Zara, because Zara kicked down the fucking door in book 2 and was like, no, bitch. This is my story.
Yes.
And that's happened. So she's actually, Andy and Joy, she is the protagonist for half of book 3.
Yeah.
So
makes sense.
Yeah. So she was my personal favorite. How about you, Andy?
Magnus is such a fun voice to do. I love villains. Like, villains are fabulously fun, especially like mustache twirly, like those just melodramatically radio program from the 20s evil villains are just chef's kiss. They're so much fun because most of the time you can't go too hard. You cannot oversell it. If you are being true to the character, you can push it pretty damn far before it gets to the point of being, it's not funny anymore. It's not true anymore, whatever the case may be. But I love those so much. So Magnus was the most fun to voice, but content-wise, I loved Zara. Zara's story was really neat. I liked the arc of Zara. That storyline was my favorite, but Magnus was the most fun to voice.
He's fun. And how about for you, Jack? Because the thing I really liked about Scarlet Citadel is that on the surface, you have this kind of story that I think a lot of people can identify with, which is there's a guy who's in a tremendous amount of debt. He's been betrayed by someone he loved very, very deeply, who's left him high and dry. And now he has to put himself in some really terrifying situations to get out of this. And sorry, now I just want to talk about Kate because she's my favorite character. I've completely forgot what I was going to say because I just want to talk about Kate because she was so fun. Why is Kate the best? That's my question.
Okay, so Kate Jubilee is Hughes's love interest in the first novel, and he is hers. Rachel, can I flip it for 2 seconds? Can I ask you why is it because she has red hair?
And is tiny and ferocious and kicks people a lot? No, I don't see any of myself in Kate.
I don't think Kate is that short.
She is in my mind. Leave me alone.
True.
She also likes drinking a lot.
She does. Kate, why is Kate? Kate is is probably my favorite character in the first novel. Kate has a lot going on. She's a much more physically competent fighter than our protagonist. And
sorry, no offense to Hughes, a broom is a more competent fighter than Hughes at the very beginning of the book. That very quickly changes. It does. It changes very, very quickly. But at the beginning, bless his cotton socks.
He's not a competent fighter at the beginning. Hughes's ability, just for those of you who haven't read Scarlet Citadel, roots itself in performance. He can influence the minds of those around him, but there's a chance it won't work. And if it doesn't work, the situation doesn't just stay the same. It gets unfathomably worse. He worsens things by the attempt. So it's a real risk every time. Hughes starts out as a pretty incompetent fighter, but he has fantastic trainers. He has Cassandra and he has Hector, a character who is described as having a voice like taking a bite of a carrot cake with a kind of a cinnamony icing on an autumn day when it's raining. A character who I picture sounding like this. Hughes, my friend, my dear friend, my apt pupil. I shall carry you forth, whether you like it or not.
Now I'm just gonna give it ASMR. Now I'm just like, yeah, that's it. He's the ASMRist with the group.
Yeah, but so sorry. What were you? Did you want to ask something aside from why is Kate cool?
Actually, pivoting off of what you said too, you actually got to watch, because we were talking about audio with Rachel's book. You got to listen in to Neil and Tess.
Yes, I did.
To the recording on Discord. What did you think about that? Getting to listen to two people working it out, working through it and stuff.
And it was incredible. I had initially listened to Tess Arundale's individual. So she went through the way it's Howard, Jack, and I friends. Everything is no, Ryan. Ryan.
No idea how we're friends.
Ryan, do not be silly. You're a fabulously articulate man. So here's the thing, is that when I was listening to Tess, she had to go through each section when she was doing it on her own, and Neil would fill in the blanks. He's coming in. He came in after. So it was kind of fragmentary. And while Tess she's a master of her craft, and she was able to immerse still, there was that broken apart quality. But a little while ago, the two of them came together, apologies, and they were able to do duet scenes in tandem, as Andy was alluding to. And as they did it, we got this really live sense to it. So Neil was playing Hughes and doing a great deal of the narration, and Tess was playing Rachel's favorite, Kate Jubilee. And we start with the scene where they meet, their first date, and then the last scene in the novel as well, when, no spoilers, but some interesting things happen. How was that? It was electrical. It was absolutely electrical. And yes, Paul, you're absolutely right. JD, well, JD, you're such a poet yourself. Don't you dare that I should be ripping off your work. So it's the case that it felt wonderful. It also felt amazing to see. This is the thing, Rachel, is that you can recognize this in Andy's performance. there is undoubtedly elevation. The words are there, but when the performer interacts with it, Rachel and I love a lot of entertainment. We love television shows, cinema, theater. We've been to a few theater shows together, and we're big believers in the performance elevating text. When it came to see Tess and Neil lend pathos and depth to the characters that I couldn't have imagined, it was so gratifying and humbling. And yeah, I feel really lucky. That's how I feel. I feel lucky. This is, I feel like it got really mushy, so I'm just going to take a big whack of wine.
Well, I've already finished my rum, so that bodes poorly for the rest of the of it. Or well, depending on how you look at it.
Let's, because I know we have to. We want to do this read thing, but I have to, like, I've realized that I have to ask more questions about this. Okay, so, all right, Andrea.
I don't know why I felt like I had to resettle when he was prepping that. I'm like, all right, what you doing? Where are we going?
what was the most intense or like powerful moment that you've read in Rachel's work aloud that you realized? And Rachel, what was the most powerful moment that engaged you when you were working on your stories?
Ooh, probably like Zara in the second book. And I'm not going to say anything else, because I'll spoil stuff if I say anything else. But it's Zara in the second book, about 3/4 of the way, almost to the end, right around there. It's Zara undergoes a change. This very harsh individual has to go through some things mentally, emotionally, physically, all this. Like, there's a whole bunch of like transformative qualities that are going on for multiple people in the story. No spoilers. I'm trying to figure out how to avoid them. It is phenomenal. And it was a lot of fun to kind of try to mold and shape those voices and change how they had been speaking and stuff. Because when people undergo like a mental change, their voice changes, how they count that, how they carry themselves. So it's all right, how can I move and finesse this to sound more accurate, give her more depth, more warmth, more whatever it needs to have. And that I will sit and obsess over those scenes for so long. Like I will play lines against each other again and again and again and again, because it doesn't sound right. It doesn't sound right. It sounds fake. It sounds fake. So those scenes, while can be like really like in depth for me and difficult, they're so rewarding when they go right. They're so nice when they finally, that feeling of like, oh, thank God, that sounds really good. Okay, I can move forward now. All right, good. It doesn't sound like she's okay, I got it now. Woohoo. All right. And that just, oh man. It was so much fun during that section because there's such a cool part with Zara right there. So I like transformative moments for characters. That's fun.
Richie, if I can get a spoiler-free version of the line, I might pop it in. I'll grab that in 2 seconds. But I love that you said that, Andy, because my favorite scene is actually like 3 chapters after that, 2 chapters after that, because everything is happening, everything makes sense, everything comes together. Exact same thing happens in book 3, by the way, because apparently this is how I fucking write. Nothing makes sense until the last 3 chapters. But I think it was chapter 58. There's 62 chapters in book 2. Andy spent on her live 2 hours on that single chapter, because it's this big moment for the MC. Everything kind of comes together about who she's been working for 2 books, who her hero really is, and what exactly has happened to bring her to this world. All of this is revealed. I prefer my reveals in dialogue, so it's a really dialogue-heavy scene. And Andy did it. I'm just sitting there going, oh my God, that was perfect. Wait, she's doing it again. Oh, that was even more perfect. No, wait, she's doing it again. So I was just sitting there being like, no, she didn't. Oh no, she's not happy. Oh no, she didn't. Oh no, going again. And then, but what's amazing? No, I loved it, right? Because even though I don't have the lingo, like I don't have the know-how or the ear to like say why one is good and one isn't, like they all just sound great to me. When you nailed your take, when you're like, no, that's the one, I was like, oh, holy shit, that was the one. Could I explain why it was the one? No, but I felt it in my jimmies.
I'll take it. Because that's the truth. To be honest, I don't think, by the way, any narrators in the chat hearing she spent 2 hours on that one scene just went, what? just blew my freaking ratio out the window. I don't have a good ratio. Any narrators are listening, I'm awful. I spend way too long on things, but I like how they come out. So it's those moments, man, I don't even know how to tell. Like, I don't even know what it is. It's just, it's like somebody has asked me before in chat, like, how do you know what it is that when it's right? And I'm like, because I don't hate it. Like, because it's not grating against each other. There's not a vibration when they're touching. I don't know. Neurodivergency is difficult in these moments because it's like the words aren't vibrating. That's why. I don't know. It's a weird, it fits better. I didn't go high here and then low here, or it works. So I can't describe it either.
Well, how about you? How about you, Jack? Like when you're writing, like how do you know that a scene you're like, nah, I was about to say something that would get me in a lot of trouble. How do you know I nailed this scene?
I'll give you an example. I had an idea for Scarlet Citadel that I really wanted to have a motorcycle gang riding flaming motorcycles that were the motorcycles made out of the necromantic force of the dead, forged from like castle remnants, and the very fuel to be sacrificed to pyromancers. Their very life force infused into the engine. And I thought, how can I make this effective? So I designed a faction called the Bone Meal Boys, who are ridiculous and yet powerfully intimidating in, I hope, in their execution. Certainly readers have written to me so. And it's some people's favorite section of the book when the Bone Meal Boys are introduced, because Hughes is now a relatively competent fighter. He's going to go out with Kate for their first mission together. There's this sense of build up to it. And I really, sometimes when you're writing, you feel like you're falling through a hole in the page and you vanish completely as an author, as a person, really. And you're right there, totally immersed in the scene. And when writing the Bone Meal Boys section, the action, the frenetic energy of it, these skeletons and their Marrow King Malin, this sort of wretched figure whose lower half is made up of these, pyromantic engines blasting forth, farting blue smoke and the flames lapping up all around. So when you fall through the page, I feel that intensity and I feel all emotions a bit more strongly. I think I've gotten a message from Geneva in our chat. I think we have to start wrapping up. I think we have to kind of do a last kind of what were you going to say, Rachel?
I stuck in the line in the private chat. Now I edited it slightly so that there wouldn't be spoilers, but I was going to ask in Zara's voice if you have it off the top of your head. If you could do this is my favorite. So this is my favorite line from the second book, Desecrate.
Okay. You will die as you lived, with piss-soaked trousers and the knowledge that the power of a god couldn't change what you are, a shriveled foreskin of a man.
That's unreal. Well, sorry, we have Andrea. Oh, super quick. Can I get? I'm working on book 3 at the moment. Andrea, could I get you to read a line from it?
Do it. Yes.
Okay. This is one of the first lines from book 3.
On the day he planned to meet death, Gormund Hughes could not find the answer to one important question: what am I going to wear?
I couldn't resist.
I love it.
Rachel,
I'm so excited.
Rachel, that line is class, by the way, from Desecrate. That's class.
Oh yeah, I laughed hysterically. Like I lost my shit when I got to it, and I had already read it. I knew it was coming. Got to it in the narration. Got to a shriveled foreskin of a man. Shit. Let's read it again. A shriveled foreskin. Sometimes, man, it just gets you. And I couldn't get past a shriveled foreskin of a man because it was so beautifully cutting. Oh, that was good.
It's incredible. It's incredible. All right. I think we probably have to do our little outro. I think we must get together at some point as a group and do some readings as we had planned to. But I just got carried away with how fun you guys were. So
it was still a successful takeover. I call it successful.
Myself as well. Will we do a lightning quick outro, each of us?
Sure.
Go for it.
I'm Andrea Parsneau. I'm an audiobook narrator. You can catch me recording any day at discord.gg/Andrea Parsneau. Custom URLs are the best. And right now I'm working on a off-stream book, so probably don't show up in the next 3 weeks or so. But after that, I'll be working on Heavenly Chaos. Right now, it's Hunt Song. Woo.
Rachel, go first. Rachel, go.
Oh, Heavenly Chaos is amazing. So my name is Rachel Kirk. I'm a former writer for Baldur's Gate 3. I have 2 books out, Calamity and Desecrate. The 3rd book, Divinity, is out in 5 days, and that will be the entirety of the Knights of Eternity trilogy. You can find me on Facebook and also on TikTok, where I make videos about writing and also writing for video games and stupid shit.
Incredible. My name is Jack Fields. My novel Scarlet Citadel came out relatively recently. People are really loving it, and I hope you will as well if you pick it up. Its sequel is about to be announced soon, as well as the release of the audiobook for Scarlet Citadel itself, narrated by Neil Helligers and Tess Arndale. Wine, and you can find me on Amazon and TikTok and Facebook, and you can find these beautiful people here as well. And yes, thank you to Geneva for organizing it. Farewell, everyone. Farewell.
Okay, bye.
Cheers to you. Farewell.
Bye-bye.
Farewell.